going crazy.
She says, I follow the law. Down in the basement.
I should have told my dad I was meeting you here.
You ready?
Yep.
All right. Since we have such a large crowd, we are going to call the meeting to order. The April 17th, 2024 Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. Ms. Blankenhorn, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Boucher, Ms. Cunningham,
Here.
Mr. Percy,
Here.
Mrs. Simpson, Mr. Smith,
Here.
Mrs. Arianata,
Here.
Mr. Eister. We do have a quorum.
All right. With that, the April 17th Board of Zoning Appeals meeting is called to order. First item of business before us is approval of the April 3rd, 2024 Board of Zoning Appeals minutes. Is there a motion to approve as presented?
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. All right, with that, the April 3rd, 2024 Board of Zoning Appeals minutes are approved as presented. Next case before us, 2024 BZA-07, 721 North Sandusky Street. Is there a proponent of the proposed variance request before us? Come on up and be sworn in. There's a card there, please.
All right. Hey, my name is Rick Bergman. You want my home address? Home address 4317 Shire Cove Road in Hilliard, Ohio. I affirm that my testimony is truthful to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God, or under penalty of perjury.
So what are we trying to achieve today, Mr. Bergman?
Well, the area that is under question, I guess, already has 3 storage buildings on the parcels that surround it. And it's basically, there's a piece of land kind of in the middle that has just been sitting vacant, and trying to, I guess, expand that by adding one storage building on that spot.
So if I read it correctly, what we're doing is we're looking for a conditional use permit for the existing 2 buildings that are there, and then also for the new building. Is that correct, Ms. Blankenhorn?
That is correct.
And this is a permitted conditional use in that zoning classification, so all we're looking for is approval of that, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So we've already got the 2. Where's the third?
So it's going to be like, basically right in
Okay.
this area here.
So is this across city and
Township.
township?
line.
Has
Yes.
the township already approved it, or do they need to approve it?
I have not talked to them yet. I just
Okay.
kind of figured that out today in speaking
Okay.
with Lacey.
All right.
That I'm going to need
All
to.
right. All right. Any questions for Mr. Bergman? Are there any other, you'll have to bear with me.
Yeah, okay.
Are there any other proponents of the proposed variance request before us? Are there any opponents of the proposed variance request before us? Is there any written or verbal communication regarding the proposed variance request before us?
I did not have any outside communication, but I have a staff report.
All right.
Dated April 16th, 2024 for case 2024 BZA-07, 721 North Sandusky Street, parcel number 66-00579.000. The subject property is zoned GB General Business District. The property was annexed from Clinton Township into the city in 1998. The 2 existing buildings on this city parcel were constructed in 1980 and 1987. There is no record of an application for a conditional use for mini storage buildings on this property. The 3rd existing mini storage building to the north, under the same ownership as the subject parcel, is on a parcel that is in Clinton Township. The existing structures are 30 feet by 112 feet, 42 by 120, and 30 feet by 112. The owner applied for a zoning permit to add a 40 by 110 mini storage building that will span across the parcel lines between city and township lines, all owned by the same entity. The applicant was advised that many storage buildings require conditional use approval through the Board of Zoning Appeals. Additionally, the city's code section 1173.11 states no more than one principal building or structure may be constructed upon any one lot. Strict adherence to this would then consider any additional structures on a property to be accessory. Code Section 1173.06 provides general requirements for accessory uses and buildings. The code does not differentiate between residential, commercial, or industrial, thus restricting accessory structures to 35% or less of the gross floor area of the principal use or structure. The code does not distinguish development standards for many storage buildings, where it is common to have more than one structure of the same or similar size on the same parcel. There is a storage facility at 1040 Newark Road that is zoned GB and has 6 structures of varying sizes. There is no record of a conditional use for this property. The last structure was added in 2014. The storage facility at 106 West Gamber Street is zoned GB. The single structure was added in 1990 prior to the current zoning code being implemented. The storage facility at 8160 Granville Road is zoned M1, which does not require a conditional use for many storage buildings. This facility did receive a variance in 2022 for a reduced side setback adjacent to a residential property for a 4th storage unit structure.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, we would need to authorize the conditional use, but also a variance related to accessory structure size,
Technically.
technically, which is
Well,
1176.
There's also, yeah, there's also the setbacks, because you're actually putting it over the line, right?
But the other
It
parcels.
kind of depends on the way you look at it, because if they were all city properties, then he's the same
It doesn't
owner.
matter.
And we view them as contiguous ownership in one parcel, but it's across city township lines, so that's your,
Yes, that's a question. Is this going to change the in or out of the access to the other buildings?
No, it'll still be the same entrance exit.
I think the next one's better.
Is there an issue with it being across parcel or lines? Is that that's a question I don't know the answer to.
I believe there are other there's a residence up in the same area that I believe is across township city line.
But you mean it's split, but this is across the parcel,
Yeah,
two
let
parcels,
me,
so it's splitting the line across 2 parcels.
I think, yeah, that one right there. The whole house is across parcel lines,
Okay, I just didn't know if we needed it.
parcel and township city line.
Oh, it is, yeah. Okay. I just didn't know if there was something. I'm not trying to overcomplicate it, I'm just trying to.
House complete 2006, it looks like. The house was completed.
So we would have needed to, there should be a zoning permit for construction in the city somewhere.
What is the actual address? 775
No,
Sandusky.
I mean, that doesn't,
Okay.
I mean, it's interesting. So, but it doesn't get to our, well, actually, we could see, if we could see if how we dealt with one of those before, see if he has a zoning permit for the city. Because that will tell us if they needed to get, if we previously had required someone to get a,
That old, I don't know if it's gonna be in here.
yeah.
No, I don't even have that address in here.
So, yeah. I have no you ever remember dealing with something across the municipal lines? You
After
Yeah.
11 years retired, I don't remember much of anything.
Uh,
We see this often in the title world. But from the zoning perspective and what we need to allow, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's,
I think it would make sense if we had a variance for the setback too, just to cover it. And that, because he's gonna have to deal with Clinton Township regardless.
Because you're gonna have to do a similar thing.
well, we don't even know what the zoning, I mean, we assume that it's going to be similar zoning.
Well, you have to deal with the setback,
He has to
Yeah.
deal with Clinton Township.
Yeah,
on
but
the
I
setback, yeah.
you assume that the zoning would allow use.
Well, the other storage unit just
That's
to the north is in Clinton,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
they allowed these two to be built before it was annexed.
So what we're looking for is we're looking for a conditional, I just want to clarify, conditional use permit and a variance on setback and accessory structure rules to essentially allow this to not be an accessory structure.
Yes.
Would that be an accurate assessment of what we're looking for, Mr. Berard?
yeah. So the size of this is what,
40 by 110,
and what are the other two on there?
30 by 110.
So it's actually bigger than either of the
Well,
existing.
no, there's
Yeah.
a 30 by 112 and a 42 by
okay.
120.
And all we're allowing is 20 by 110.
I thought you said 40 by 110.
This is the current request.
Well,
Yeah.
These are the existing.
But I'm saying only half the building's in the city.
Oh,
Yeah.
well. Yes, I see when you say that.
So from that perspective, we're fine on the size.
Yeah.
Okay. Any additional discussion? If not, I would entertain a motion regarding the proposed request as we've outlined.
I'll make a motion as we proposed, a conditional use, a variance for setbacks, and a variance for how the structure's classified.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Additional discussion regarding the request? Ms. Blankenhorn, call the roll.
Ms. Cunningham.
Yes.
Mr. Percy.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mrs. Arianata.
Yes.
All right, with that, 2024 BZ07 is approved as presented. Ms. Blankenhorn, Mr. Bebout's here. We may want to have have you talked to?
Yes.
I'm sorry, somebody called and told me that they were having a meeting,
Oh,
but they must have just seen this on the internet.
Oh,
I was just up here because we were covering the wall that we just laid.
yeah.
So
We,
I was
yeah,
like, I'll just get out and see. Somebody
We-
called me.
we do not have a quorum for
I
your
know you
case.
don't. I
Yeah.
just, somebody called and told me, and I thought, I better just walk.
yeah.
All right,
All right,
thank you
all right,
guys.
all right,
Have
thank
a good evening.
Ms. Blankenhorn, is there any additional business before us?
Can I get a formal motion to table that case? The Gander
Yes, I'm
Street.
sure you can. Mr. Smith, could you make that? Ms. Cunningham is unable to.
I move that we table the subsequent case.
2024 BZ09.
Yeah, I don't have that in front of me.
Yep.
But yes, I would make that motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. Do we need a roll call vote or just an
Voice
all?
vote's fine.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. With that, the motion is tabled with Ms. Cunningham abstaining. Thank you. All right, anything else? All right.
I'll move that
Entertain-
we adjourn.
Yep. Second, we got a second from Ms. Arianna. They're ahead of me. All right, with that, we are adjourned.
That eclipse was really neat.
That was really
That was-
neat.
Yeah. I
We
didn't
had the
think-
best attorneys in Morrow County for the
I'll have
clips.
to get that
Well,
one
you had
up
four.
into our system and get the piece in, and then I'll email that to you.
Is that
okay?
the younger guy, is he in your law firm also?
Yes.
That tall fellow?
The tall
All right,
fellow
thank
and
you.
then Patrick too. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The four of us from our office, you, Ken,